everybody. This is our very last show for Mega Wellness Summit. I can't believe that 3 weeks is over. We just take a deep breath. It is done. Today is the last show. We are ending it with a bang because we're talking about numerology, which is definitely something I think everybody should, take a look at. They should experiment and have an open mind about what their numbers mean. And, maybe it could really teach you something about yourself and what this world, why you came into this world and what your purpose is and your journey. And I'm not 100% on, what is numerology. I kind of have an idea, but that's why we have Allen Gittelson here with us today. Hello, Allen. How are you?
Hi, Nikki. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. We have some callers who are live with us who are going to get a reading from Allen. But Allen, first, let's hear about you. What's your background and how'd you get into numerology?
Well, my background is that, I've been interested in many things, like many people over time. But as a kid, I was really interested in sort of magic and mysticism and hypnosis and things like that. And, I started studying hypnotism as about a 9 or 10-year-old kid, and started studying magic. And I was looking for the things that are, what's real and what's not real. Wondering where the edge is about things. And I really, really started getting into the hypnosis when I was, after I was about 25, getting into it really seriously. And another guy who I learned about was Richard Webster. He is this fantastic, amazing author and human being. I've met him in person a few times, had dinner with him, and he knows so much about Chinese numerology. I've read his book on Chinese numerology. It's a great book, Richard Webster's Chinese Numerology on Llewellyn Press. He's their best-selling author, actually. The guy's written over 100, it might be over 150 books at this point. He's amazing, and he's still putting out more and more all the time. And really, him and his approach to numerology, and a very good friend of mine, Jim Fassbinder, who ran the San Francisco Ghost Hunt in San Francisco, got me interested. Hey, Allen, you should, I know you do some tarot readings, but what about numerology? You don't necessarily carry tarot cards with you all the time. It's something you got to carry with you. Wouldn't it be cool to do readings if you didn't have anything with you? Just on the spur of the moment, you could just do it. And I thought that sounds great, but isn't that a lot of stuff to memorize? Or, it sounded complicated to me, where the tarot is some physical objects and you have the pictures there right in front of you. Numerology was just, numbers, math. It's intimidating. It was initially. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, teach me it, and he showed me some basics of it. And I started looking into Richard Webster's stuff and started doing the readings and getting more clear on how to do it as time went on. And that's really how I got started. And that was really exciting. I could do a reading anytime, anywhere with basically nothing. Although usually I will, I'll take out a pen and jot things down for the person to keep, because I find that helps people.
Yes. Yeah. Math is involved. So that would be not my thing.
There's a little bit of math, but it's not complicated. There's much more complicated things you can do, but it's really simple. And in fact, I made a little booklet. I still have a few of these. I haven't done a new printing of them. I have my Allen Gittelson's Simple Chinese Numerology. So it's a very, very thin booklet. It's only like 16 pages, and that includes the front and the back and even some space for notes. And it really breaks down really simply how to do Chinese numerology, just the basics to the, stripping away everything that's extraneous and just leaving us with the core of how to do it based on a person's birth date. And that's what I focus on.
So tell us a bit about numerology. What does it do, and why should we care about our numbers?
Sure. Well, I guess I'll start out with like a little bit of history. So Chinese numerology is very old. It's over 4,000 years old. And according to the legend, Emperor Yu saw a tortoise with a perfect square shell on its back. You know how the tortoise shell is sort of divided into sections. And it was divided into like a 3x3 square. And it was on the banks of the Low River. And this is why we call this this square that we do even today in numerology the low shoe square. People don't necessarily always call it that, but that's what it is. And the numbers, they say, on the back of this tortoise shell that was found on the banks of the Low River was what's called a magic square. And I know you're not a big math whiz, as you said, but if you're not familiar with them, a magic square is a arrangement of numbers in a square so that the numbers add up to the same total regardless of how you add them up. So if you go for all the columns vertically, each one of those columns adds up to the same number. Also horizontally, each one of them adds up to the same number. And then there can be more complex magic squares also, that not just 3x3, but 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, etc. And they can have those same things. So even maybe you can have like, the four corners also add up to that same number, and all sorts of different combinations. So it's a mathematical thing. So they found this very interesting in China over 4,000 years ago, and they came up with this system, which was essentially putting your numbers, your personal numbers, in there and doing some addition. And they had meaning assigned to each one of the numbers. And for simplification, really it deals with primarily the numbers 1 through 9. The 0 really has no meaning, and there are a couple special numbers that come up sometimes, but generally it's just the 1 through 9. And like I have it simplified, is that each one of the numbers has a meaning, and I go into a little bit of the detail in my little booklet, and also the little booklet that I give to people when I do a reading. And I have that. There you go. And there's like the little low shoe square. This is a blank one that isn't filled up. But you can see this is the 3x3 square.
Yeah.
And this is a little chart of the numbers and their meanings, and it's like a little tic-tac-toe board to really make it. It
really is
like a little tic-tac-toe board, and depending on whether you have things like vertically or horizontally or diagonally, they have different meanings.
Let's talk about those meanings.
Okay.
So give us a for instance.
Okay. Let's do a for instance. So today is April 2nd, 2016.
Yeah.
So if I were to, maybe I'll just do a very quick reading on the day.
Okay.
Okay. Not about a person, but some people like to look at a day. Oh, what kind of day is this going to be? Sort of.
Like astrology.
Yeah. How might I look at the specific day? Right. So today is 4/2/2016. So I just put those in columns and do the math. It's fairly simple for today. I add those up, and that's 2022. And then I add the numbers, the digits in that. So that's a 2, a 0, a 2, and a 2. I add those together, and I get a 6. And a 6 is the number of family. nurturing. So today, I might look at today from the perspective of Chinese numerology, as today is a very good day for family nurturing, a day to focus on that. Or maybe if I'm doing too much of that, also, since today might be such a strong day for that, to be aware of that and to make sure that I also don't overdo it. Just be aware of a balance. As much as you might look at things from a perspective of a number, you might, in one way, it can also be that you don't want to be off balance.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. So give us tomorrow.
Okay. Let's see. Tomorrow would be 4/3, 2016, of course, and then that would be 2023, and then I just add the numbers. It would be 7 tomorrow. Usually things go in a cycle, but there are some exceptions, and we're not going to get into those right now. Maybe one will appear.
Yeah, I think I'm really confused on the math. I mean, okay, so math is not my strongest point anyways, but let's take us through how you're doing this.
Does this come in forwards or backwards? Is this?
No, it looks good.
Okay, so if you can look at the top here, let's see, let me fold it over so you can see more readily. I just jotted this down before the call, so I can see that I circled 2 because that's the day.
Yeah.
Right, today is the 2nd, because I did one for the 1st because April Fool's Day I thought people might be interested in as well. But
okay.
Today is April.
Okay, so you're adding up the total. So you have the month, the day, the year. You're adding that up, and then that comes out to 2022. Then you add 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. So then we have to understand the meaning of what 6 means.
Yes.
I get it.
6 would be the number for this day.
The number for the day, but we don't know the meanings for each of the.
Well, and then I have my own little system, which I don't put out there and publish for free. Sometimes I share things, like an interview, today. If you get a quick glimpse from my booklet, let's see how it can do. As to hold that up.
Oh, cool!
You can see that I have the meaning through 9, and then there's some other special meanings there for some other numbers. So. Sometimes, depending on the numbers of the day, you will get a number that is more than 1 digit. In that case, according to Chinese numerology, and actually I should mention, this is the sort of westernized version of Chinese numerology. That's part of the history. It was taken by some people and modified a little bit. Just mostly in where the numbers go, in which square, so it was simplified. But anyway, sometimes you get a number that's more than 1 digit. Mm-hmm. Most cases, you're just going to reduce that number. So if that number is not an 11 or a 22, because those are special numbers. If it's not an 11 or a 22, what you're going to do is you're going to take those numbers and you're going to add them to each other. So let's say, for example, I added up the numbers on that bottom row here.
Oh, it's upside down.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. It's away from me, so it's hard to see. So if I took those and let's say they added up to 13 instead of 6, well, 13, that's not on the chart. Well, you add the 1 and the 3 to each other, and you would get a 4. So the day is a 4.
Right.
So really pretty simple, and the only exceptions are the 11 and 22. If you get an 11 or 22, you do not add those digits together. Those are special numbers, which I showed on the chart.
So let's talk about different people's life paths. So I definitely think that's why people are here today, because they want to learn more about themselves.
Sure.
And so if they can learn more about themselves through their birthday and the meaning of that, and you can tell them, you're on the right path. It's just that this is whatever. I don't even know what you tell them. So,
Well, it's for everybody to judge, of course, what they, gauge what path that they think they're on. But to look at it from the perspective of Chinese numerology, it might tell them, for example, that their life path number is, like I said, today is family and nurturing. Tomorrow, to finish that up, it would add up to a 7. So tomorrow is a spiritual day. And that's not necessarily religion, but whatever spiritual is to you. A lot of people have a feeling that they're connectedness, or that it may be even a scientific point of view, it might be a religious point of view, whatever that spirituality is to you. I think that's one of the numbers that's the most individual, because people have different feelings and thoughts about that and their approach to that.
When I hear from my mom, I hear, oh, you're, I believe I'm a 9. Is 9 around money?
9 is completion, like a humanitarian traditionally, but I also say,
or maybe I'm an 8. What's it, money?
I think that you were an 8.
Oh, I'm an 8.
I don't remember your specific numbers off the top of my head, but I know that we did talk about prosperity quite a bit.
Yeah.
And money. And yes, 8 is prosperity. So, and prosperity isn't just money. It can be value, and that challenge might be for some people to see the value in themselves. Like we were talking just before the call formally started, we were talking about people in general maybe not seeing their value. Some performers, for example, they may be the greatest performer in the world, but they might not have a high self-value, like the value that they see in themselves. They may have a high value to others, but they might not get that themselves. They might not be open to receiving the value, the great value that they are providing to other people, and the great value that they have as a person. That everybody is a wonderful, valuable person who has so much that they have to offer to themselves and to other people, and not everybody sees that. So I generally say that the 8 goes around prosperity, finances, money, business, that sort of thing. But again, it can be interpreted much more broadly than that. So I'd like to tailor my readings to each specific person who's sitting in front of me. Yeah. Because, and this gets to how I approach numerology is, I don't believe that numerology is anything psychic or supernatural, or that these are necessarily some sort of a fate that's cast and this says this is the way things are and the way that they have to be. It's all what you make of it. If you take it as it's nothing, it doesn't mean anything, that's fine. It's all how you approach it. And what I'm doing mostly when I'm doing a reading for someone is I'm reading the person. I'm a people reader. That's what I do. So, I'm working with what I see in front of me and giving the person feedback about what they see, and maybe they will be able to see themselves from another perspective that they haven't had presented to them. Generally, the people who I'm doing readings for, I've never met them before, and we all have our different faces, our some would say our masks. There's a whole branch of psychology and such that deals with the perspective of the different masks we wear, and is there even a mask that is ourselves? Who are we? I think that's one of the searches of, I think that's, regardless of what people believe, I think that's one of the things about life is it can very much be a search for ourselves. Who am I? How do I respond to things in my life? How do I perceive the things going on around me? What does that even mean? Who am I? And for every person might take that very differently. Some people you can see they're they're on a mission, this is the one thing that I care about, and I'm going to get that done no matter what. And this is my mission in life, and everything I do is about that. And other people just like, I just take life as it goes. I'll take the flow, whatever comes,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
most people have a different, maybe go through different perspectives, different ways of looking at it through their lives. So I think that even if you do have a purpose, and even if you do have like a singular focus for your life, it can be good to take a break from that for a moment and to look at things from another perspective, to even give you some additional insight about what you believe your purpose is, and what you're doing in life. Because that might even let you see, for example, how other people see you and how they might feel or think about or respond to the things that you're doing. Because, for most things, we're interacting with others, and understanding how we're seen by others and how we see others can play a large part in our life. Human beings are social creatures, and knowing how we're seen and how we see other people and how those things all go through filters in both directions, I think can be very, very valuable.
I do too. I really do like the different masks, because I completely identify with that, because I have a mask that I wear with work, and then I have a mask that I wear with being a wife, and then I have a mask that I wear with being a mom, and then I have a mask that I wear when I'm, soccer mom. And then, so I definitely see that there's different angles of myself. And so I appreciate that. That's a great thing to take away. And I do believe, though, that when we're on this planet, anybody who comes into our life is that we are trying to figure out ourselves through the other person that's in front of us. So which that means is that, our husband or best friend or even our children, we're still trying to identify who we are through them. And so if there's things that you don't like about your husband, or things you don't like about your wife, or your your best friend, then those are the things that they see about you as well. And to change it within yourself, and then you see the changes in them. That's the psychology that I follow and most identify with.
Yes, absolutely, Nikki. And for those who are interested, and I don't know if you're interested, but there's the classic book of sociology that I became aware of through another performer, as I do performing as well. We haven't touched on that, but there's Irving Goffman wrote a book called The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life.
Yep.
And he's a really key person who brought that theory and that idea together, and it's outlined in that book.
Yeah.
The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life by Irving Goffman.
I read it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I graduated in sociology, so I have a degree in sociology.
Fantastic. See, we're hitting all the numbers there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm totally familiar. And that's exactly when I learned about that in college, actually.
Okay, that's great. Mark Salem, who's a fantastic mentalist and stage performer, and even a consultant on Sesame Street, I think it was a children's television workshop and all that. He mentioned in at least one interview that that book, and he studied with Goffman, I believe himself, that Goffman was, I think, one of his professors. That was how I became aware of that specific book.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very cool. And so let's just touch on you perform.
Sure.
Let's touch on that, because that probably we're like, oh, well, where can I see you? What do you do?
Well, there's a variety of things I do. Mostly I'm a hypnotist and mind reader. And what I do is a theatrical presentation of some fun. So I have a show called The Secret Language, and it's all based around the idea that we're all reading each other, and we are reading each other and being read by each other all the time. Just a sort of part of what we were just talking about. seeing other people and how they see us and all that.
Is this a live show or is this?
Absolutely. It's a live interactive experience. So
Where is it, in LA?
sometimes I'll do it in a theater. Sometimes I'll do it in people's homes. I might do a spot in a variety show. So like, for example, this past Wednesday night, I performed at my friend Scott Neary's Booby Trap show in Echo Park in Los Angeles. And it's a crazy fun variety show. Each performer gets 4 minutes to come on stage and do their incredible, amazing things. There were like jugglers, musicians, aerial artists, a woman doing like amazing things up in the air on a rope that's hanging from the ceiling, all sorts of things. And you never know who's going to show up. I only learned after the performance that I performed for Emma Thompson, Academy Award winner. She was there at the show, watching the show. And Reggie Watts has been there as a performer. He was supposed to be there, I think, that night, but he ended up having something else going on because he's the host and not host. He's the announcer and band leader for the Late Late Show with James Corden. That's one example of things. But I also have a readings party that I do, which is kind of a combination of things that I do. So I may go to a person's home. They have a party of people. Usually it's up to about 13 people because we have to do readings for each person. It takes a lot of time. So if I'm doing it for hundreds of people, I don't usually give readings for each person. But in the readings party, basically I'll do a performance of like between 20 and 25, 30 minutes, somewhere in there. And I'm doing that show close up, intimate for that group of people in like a living room or outside, whatever they have at their home or place that they want to have it. And then afterwards, I do a private reading for each one of the people who is there. And that's been really fun. People really enjoy that. They get really excited seeing the show and seeing these, some mind reading feats going on.
Is mind reading real?
Well, I guess it all depends on how you perceive the world. I think so, but it depends how you would define it. As far as what I consider, I would say, yes, absolutely, mind reading is real. But when I say mind reading is real, I mean, let's put it this way. We're using words to talk, sometimes gestures and things like that. There's lots of little like micro expressions and things that are easier to pick up on when we are in the same space and same time with a person. But we have thoughts that we're trying to express, and we're trying to get those into the mind of another person. And we use crude tools like language. There's all sorts of different languages, and those languages have sort of filters and ways of thinking that are sort of embedded in those languages and how people use them and cultures. So I would say when you talk to a person, when you're looking at another person, when you're even with a group of people or another person, you are actively involved in mind reading, and so are they. Because
it's intuition.
There's intuition in it. We grow up as people. Most people, they're born not knowing any kind of a language, and we just observe. We watch the people around us, and we hear them, and we pick it up.
So it's energy, and it's intuition, and using our gut to guide us on what they are thinking.
I think one of the ways I like to put it is that human beings are pattern-seeking organisms. We see patterns, so we're so good at identifying patterns and categorizing that we even see patterns where no pattern exists because we impose the pattern that we believe we see on other things. Like you're looking up at a cloud. You ever been, like as a kid or even adult, you look up at the sky and look at the cloud, and you might think to yourself, or somebody might say to you, "Oh, what do you see?"
It looks like an elephant, or it looks like a cat, or it looks like a dog.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
The cloud is not a dog or a cat or an elephant. that's you laying on your pattern-seeking humanness
Sure.
on this, random air particle, air and water particles and their assemblage in the sky.
Right.
And your specific perspective of it, because that cloud can be seen from 360 degrees, and actually more than that, because it can be seen from inside itself as well. And from every perspective, it looks like something different. And there may be some other person or creature or whatever that has some other pattern that they may put on it. Oh, if you're inside the cloud, it doesn't look like a puppy. I can't see anything. It just looks all white. I can't see it. I must be stuck in a cloud.
Right.
Someone might say, oh, I'm in heaven. Or the pilot may be saying, well, we're experiencing some turbulence right now. It's really shaky here.
You never want to hear we're going down. That's one thing you never want to hear from a pilot.
We're going into our final approach.
That's good. That's good. So what we're going to do now, if you don't mind, is we'll get somebody on a call right now who can get firsthand experience with working with you and having their numbers read.
That sounds fantastic.
Okay, so there's 3 ways. There seems to be all ladies on the line. So what you can do, ladies, is press *6 to unmute yourself, or if you're coming in on video, you can go to manage participants on your screen. It will come up. It's right next to the invite button, and you can raise your hand. When you raise your hand, I will basically call on you, and I'll unmute you and unmute your video. I know that Allen does like to, you like to see the person, right?
That'd be great if it's possible. If not, we'll do with what we can, but it's better if I can actually see the person and interact with them.
Right. I remember talking about that was an important thing. So if you like to get your numbers done, if you're shy, I totally understand. I will go first if you guys, if nobody comes on board. I'm always a willing participant.
That's good. You're a good example, Nikki.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and then the other option is to go ahead and click on, there's a chat button, and the chat button is right next to the share screen button. And so all you have to do is say, tell me your question or whatever. And I just said hello right now in the chat box. And we can either chat or we can have you come on. Either way, we'd love to have you on.
Great. And you know what? As an enticement to encourage someone to get a reading, I will throw in a little something extra in the mix, see if this will get someone out of their little shy shell.
Sure.
And wherever they are in internet land. I have these little Chinese numerology booklets. I mentioned them, and it has the details of the system sort of all laid out for me. Mm-hmm. And what I normally do is I'm reading for a person in person. I will fill this out. I'll fill out the chart, and I get to keep the booklet as a part of the reading. Today, the readings that I do here, I will fill out the little booklet for you. And if I don't know if there's a way I can get their email, their mailing address, like a physical mailing address, whether they send that to me directly or through Nikki or whatever, I can send you your reading booklet in the mail, free, nothing, no charge today, just for this special thing for the Mega Wellness Summit.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Raise your hand, ladies, and get your free reading today, and you'll get this the little booklet with all the results. And people say this is a nice, a lucky talisman that they carry.
Yes. Yes, I have mine. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do my numbers. I mentioned that I'm an 8. So, Allen, show them how I came up with that.
Can I get your numbers from your? Do you want to reveal your birthday? Yeah. I know that's one of sometimes people are shy about.
Everybody, my birthday is July 26th.
So let's see. Oh, sorry.
07.
26.
1982.
19.
Hopefully you're not going Wow, you look way older than what
And
you
that
really
means
are.
everybody knows, of course, that means that Nikki is 16.
Yes, right.
Okay, so I am get my little Mont Blanc out here, write the numbers, 1982. And so, let's see, give me just one moment there. Nikki, and today is April 2nd, 2016. So I've just written in here, it's Nikki, her birth date, and then I've written it in this little section that I have here to do the math. And then I'm just going to add these like we talked about, and we'll see how that comes out for you. So I'm going to put together, and then I'll show you the numbers here. So it's hard for me to do this backwards, but let's see how I do here. There's a 7, a 6, and a 2. So that's going to be a 15.
Mm-hmm.
Add those together. So I put the 5 at the bottom, and I carry the 1, and I see the next column over. I have an 8 and a 2. That's a 10, but with the 1 that I carried, that's going to be an 11.
Yeah, yeah.
I put the 1 down there, and I've carried the 1, and the 1 and the 9 are going to be a 10. So I'm going to put a 0 and carry the 1.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put, just 1 plus the 1 that I carried is going to be a 2.
2.
And so we've got, that adds up to,
wow,
the whole thing,
2015.
And then I'm going to add each one of those digits together. So I've got the 2,
the 5, and the 1.
The 1 and the 5, thank you. It's hard to see them backwards in the camera.
Sure.
So I don't normally have that challenge. So I add those together, and I'm going to get an 8, which is what we talked about a little bit before. So as you can see, I added these together, and then I added all the numbers there to each other, and I got an 8, which is a single digit. So I did not need to reduce that to a single digit. It already is a single digit. And I put it right here in the life path lucky number box.
Yeah.
And so we know that Nikki's life path number is an 8. So I simply look at my little number interpretations over here on the side, because I've really taken all these books and things and simplified it down to that. I've got the whole system right there. Easy reference. So an 8 is prosperity.
Right.
So
is everybody jotting this down right now? So if you're not going to come in to get a reading, go ahead and take a pen and paper and do just what Allen did
you can
for
totally
yourself.
do your own numbers. You can totally do your own numbers that way. And I realized I have a whiteboard to my side too. I could do this larger if need be.
No, I think this is great. This is good. I would also say I'm a dreamer as well. There's so many of things that I can see in myself. Like prosperity is a struggle. So why, like money is a struggle to make money. So why is that my life path?
Well, like I say, according to just looking at things with the filter of Chinese numerology, it is your life path. Just from the numbers in your birth date, and according to that breakdown, it is your life path. I'm not saying that.
But why would it be a struggle?
Why would it be a struggle? Maybe that is the thing that you are on the path to improve on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't assign the meaning to it. I would ask you, perhaps why do you think that it is a struggle, or is that something that you've chosen maybe to be concerned with? I mean, I know we need money probably. In our Western society, in a lot of places, we look at it as I need money. But people did live a lot of times in parts of. I think we've put money on ourselves, I must say.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure when people first came into being, they didn't have money. Over time, there were systems of barter, people trading one thing for another. We were all working together collectively, and we've come up with this system of money. But there are people who live together and have different ways to organize their resources and pool things together and to help each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be money, but we've chosen, most people have this agreement that we all work with, which is we have the money, but it isn't. It's a human concept.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Although you may see other. I have seen some stuff about like monkeys using some sort of something that they have a value, some food item or something like that, to trade for favors or to help or things like that. But the level that it is right now, I think humans have a real big lock on money as a concept. But you think about it, you pull out a dollar bill, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's a piece of paper that they say this is worth something. But what is it actually? It's that you have assigned that value to it, or you're believing that somebody else says it is worth this amount. It used to be, before 1933, in the United States at least, this bill is worth $1 in silver. Or if it was a gold, this is worth $1 in gold. And there was gold sitting somewhere worth that amount of money that was in circulation. But we don't have that anymore. We don't operate on the gold standard anymore.
Mm-hmm. I would totally be down for like operating on some sort of food trade. So if I'm raising my goats and then I'm giving you milk and meat and you're giving me vegetables, see, that's the better system, I think.
Could be.
I think I would totally go back to the days where we didn't maybe have electricity and life is a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to raise our cattle and raise our pigs and our chickens. And, I definitely think I see the prosperity in that. The value of food to me is extremely high because we all need to eat. So like the monkey, I understand that. And, but what I don't understand is, trying to survive, in harsh, and I guess you're going to trying to survive in harsh weather if you're trying to grow crops and raise cattle and, all those. So it's just a different perspective.
It's a different struggle depending on where people have chosen to live, and
I get it.
You cook and you provide value to people in the form of like recipes and cooking techniques and things like that. And I'm sure that, some people will see the value in that and you'll exchange things. Maybe you'll give them a meal and they'll give you something else. Sometimes we have this sort of the intermediary, which is like the currency that we use.
Right.
And these days it's so much, even we're getting to the point where much less of it is a physical thing. I don't have a dollar bill, but I have this number that says I have this amount of dollars in an electronic account somewhere that somebody takes care of. And we're going to transfer this imaginary money, this number into this place, which you don't actually see as something. It's all
right.
I think it's getting to another layer of abstraction, I would say. And I think that is one of the things that might make it even harder on people is, what am I really basing my life on? I would say that when I think about all this, and there's so many ways to look at it, is that it's about looking at life and what do you want to get out of it, and what is valuable to you.
Mm-hmm. What is valuable to you? That's a huge question. Mm-hmm. And who are you, and how much do you contribute to this world? And I think that those are very big questions. Now, What is your number, Allen?
Gosh, I know it right off the top of my head. I haven't done it recently, but I believe that I am a 9. Let me do mine real quick.
So it would be humanitarian.
Yes. I get to keep my birthday a secret, though.
Okay.
That's the benefit of here.
Also, too, if somebody wants to just type in their number, and then you can do a reading for them without having you having them give away their birthday.
Yes, I'm a 9. Just been a while since I did my own number.
You focused on yourself, Allen?
Yes.
Focusing on everybody else.
I'm the humanitarian. So I'm a 9.
That makes sense.
Humanitarian is the traditional meaning for 9, but also put completion, because completion is well, the one is beginnings, and
the 9 is completing.
Completion.
I see that.
1 is beginnings for people who are good at starting projects. Oh, I like to start this and I like to start that. But then they might not come to completing those projects. So I see the 9 as completion, the person who can identify what do we need to do to make this project achieve completion, to get to the end.
Okay, great.
You know, a lot of people are great at getting things started, and sometimes people who can get things done, they don't know what needs to be done. They don't have an idea, but they're the people who can make it happen.
I love it. Okay, we have somebody who is a 5.
Oh, okay. Let's see. They did their numbers, and
yes.
they are 5.
She did her numbers, and she's a 5.
Oh, okay. Great. Oh, I didn't see that in my.
Because it was messaged to me privately.
Okay. Great.
Right.
So if you do your numbers and you are a 5, and also we can do the full low shoe square as well if we have the numbers of the.
Yeah, we didn't do that with me.
We didn't do that with you yet. So let's do this. Let's do the 5, and then we will do low shoe square, either yours or this another person's.
Okay.
So a 5 is freedom and creativity.
Oh, what does that mean?
Freedom and creativity. So the way I like to think of this is, and I also rhyme 5 with hive, like a hive of bees. They're free. They're buzzing all over the place. There's a lot of creativity and energy, and they have a person who doesn't necessarily. I would say a lot of times these are people who don't impose as many restrictions on themselves in the way that they see the world, or the way that they don't let other people assign the restrictions to them. So they can, by doing that and by seeing things that way, they are seen by other people and maybe seen by themselves as being more free and creative. I'll share this. I learned a big lesson last night, and I watched this little. I didn't even watch the whole thing yet, because I had other things to do. But I saw a thing that was talking about this restriction we have of ourselves. We often define ourselves by our limitations rather than our possibilities. So if I asked most of you, can you draw? Probably most of you would say, no, I can't draw, and that's a thing that commonly people say, oh, I couldn't do that. That's for artists and creative people and such. But essentially, in just a few minutes time, I'm not claiming to be some great artist, but I'm gonna just following what I learned last night. In 5 minutes time, I'm gonna draw a little character.
Okay.
I mean, I learned it in 5 minutes. It's not gonna take me 5 minutes to draw it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna give this little character a nose. I'm gonna give it little eyes right there, just like that. I'm going to draw a little part of their face like that. I'm going to give them, should I go spiky or curly hair? Or some other
curly.
kind of curly hair. we're going to do curly hair and then just a line there. Going to give him a little t-shirt, a little line there and there. Oh, and I forgot to draw the mouth, just like that. And boom, I've got drawn myself a little character. Now, there's no way I would have ever thought that I could even draw something that well.
Cool.
You know, it's not masterful or something like that, but I could, you know, do other things with that and go crazy. And each time I draw one, it's completely different because I have the sort of little formula and I can turn them whatever other way. But wow, my mind was blown. It's like, I always considered myself not a person who can draw anything, especially drawing some sort of a face or something. But, you know, just by focusing on the possibilities and not the restrictions, we can do so much.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So tell me what 5 again is again.
Okay. Again? Absolutely. 5 is freedom and creativity. So a person who is a creative person sees, I would say that we're all creative and that we are all free, but if we allow ourselves to be. Mm-hmm. So it might be that the person doesn't see themselves as a free or creative person, but maybe that's their challenge. Maybe they need to open up their eyes, take off those blinders, and see the world for what it is. Maybe you're looking for the restrictions rather than the possibilities, because that is, I would say that's most people's obstacle. And that is often the possible problem with, or possible situation with a person who is a 5 is, just, you know, stop assigning these things that other people told you. Somebody, you say, I want to do this. And people say, no, you can't do that, or that's not possible, or, you know, just look at any number of things that we do today. We're talking to each other through the internet. I'm sitting here in my home. You, I assume, are sitting in yours. Many other people are in their homes or somewhere else. You could talk to someone and see them on a video camera in the year 2016. You're crazy? That's not possible, right?
Right.
That won't happen. That you're doing this for free, even from your home, you know, sans, you know, the price of your computer and such. That's insane. Next thing you know, you're telling me that people can fly from one place to another in a day's time. They could travel anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. All those things possible because somebody said, I think we could do this and I'm going to try it out, you know?
That's right. That was great. I love that. So do the low shoe.
Oh, let's do the low shoe square for you. Unless we haven't had somebody else volunteer, but we're going to take the numbers, the 7/26, 1982.
Okay.
And as you can see on the little sort of tic-tac-toe looking square here, we're going to take each one of the numbers from your birth date up here, and we're going to put each number in its place in the square.
Okay.
For example, we've got your date of your birth is a 7. So we're going to put 17 in the 7 square. So we've got that. And the month of your, I'm sorry, I switched the day and the month. You were born on the 26th. So we're going to take the 2 and put it in the 2 square. And we're going to take the 6 and put it in the 6 square. And then you're born in 1982, so we're going to put a 1 in the 1 square, a 9 in the 9 square, an 8 in the 8 square, and a 2, another 2 in the 2 square. So what we did was we simply, I was working all backwards here. I switched up the day and the month, but you get it. And then I took those numbers and I put them there in the square.
Okay.
Can you see
Got
that?
it. Yes. Okay.
So you can see that first thing I look for usually is I look for more than one number in a square. And in Nikki's case, I see 2s. Mm-hmm. I see 2 2s. And 2s, if I look over at the chart, are the number of tact. So this is a person who's good with people. As you
True.
can see, as we all know, Nikki has brought us together today. She's organized people.
I have been told that I'm pretty good with people.
Good with people. So I'd say she's a person who has tact. This is one of the things that I would see in her low shoe square. And then I also look at it as a tic-tac-toe game, sort of. And I'm going to draw a little arrow here. As you can see, if this was a little tic-tac-toe game, you can see she's got each one of these numbers here to complete one of the things that would have you win in a tic-tac-toe. And that's the only one that I see that's complete. Everyone's a little bit different in that area.
Yeah,
so
I see that.
And see if this is small on here, but I have the verticals on my little chart. Let's see how that comes out. Can you make that out?
Oh yeah, action, will, and thought. So
right.
Mine is action.
Yours is action. Absolutely, Nikki.
Okay.
So one of your strengths, according to the low shoe square, is action. So you're action person, a person who takes action to get the things that they want done. So perhaps I might put that together with your life path number, which is an 8, and say to achieve those ideals of prosperity, however you see prosperity, that you need to take the action that's required to get there. That you might see that you're good with people, and put those together. And that's one of the things you've done in putting together this Mega Wellness Conference, is you've put people together and taken action to make this whole conference happen. And I'm hoping that some prosperity comes to you and to the others who are involved in it, to bring prosperity to all the people involved in whatever way they see that prosperity.
Sure, absolutely. That's definitely what my prayers have been. And I can tell you that I journal my prayers, and that is all great. And that's all that has been said, is the prayers in here is that everybody prospers and everybody gains wisdom and hope and love from the summit. And that, and is just speaking on the last day of the summit, as we wrap this up, my prayer has been from the very beginning is to influence all life, and that we can all take away something beautiful from each and every person that was featured as an expert. So, and what I try to tell people is, if they're not interested in one particular thing, you can see that those summits get really, really big when they talk about, cancer or one thing that they're struggling with. And those are very successful summits. But my summit is also important because it talks about different angles of wellness. And we can't get well without one missing piece. So people are going to constantly be struggling with their weight, or with their thyroid, or with their with cancer, if they don't put those missing pieces together. So if they're not healing emotionally, if they're not taking a look at their emotions, or they're not taking a look at even their numbers, their path, they don't understand themselves, then they are missing a big piece of the puzzle. So that's why we are here. And on the final days, I just want to really say, thank you, and thank you to everybody who have participated in Mega Wellness Summit and made it what it is. And this is not the last of Mega Wellness Summit, or the last of me. And just switching over a platform here pretty soon. And I hope that we can all come together, and you'll probably see me more on YouTube in the upcoming months. But I want to say thank you, Allen. This has been a wonderful hour. I don't think anybody else is going to be coming up, because this is, I understand, more of a an intimate conversation. And
Yeah.
so it would be great if you contacted Allen yourself. And Allen, how do we contact you?
The very best way is through my website. You can find out what's going on with me. It's mentalwires.com. I like to think that we're all connected with mental wires. And my email address is allen@mentalwires.com. That's ALLEN. You can find out how to do that on my website as well, mentalwires.com. I do have Twitter and all that stuff, but really I just, focus on my website, come to me through there. Usually I find it best for people. They do readings in person, but we can, of course, arrange them through Skype or whatever more modern methods if we're not in the same area at the same time. And like I said, I also entertain, do a party, like a readings party. Those are really popular. People like those, and I love them. They're great. People have a nice party at home. Did one for a Halloween one that was super awesome. This guy had all these decorations and everything, and a themed meal, and we had a little fun psychic show, and with mind reading and all that sort of stuff. And then we had one-on-one readings for each of the people at the party. That's the most popular thing that I offer, and I love it, and people love it too. It's a good time.
Awesome. Well, that's cool that you do that. I love that. I love being in the presence of human to human contact. It's the best. It's better than the internet. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your energy and your wisdom that you've shared with us on Mega Wellness Summit. And thank you to all who have joined us today on this Saturday. I do appreciate it. And we will be in touch. So everybody else, have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Great. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thanks for everybody out there on the internet for joining us. I really appreciate everything.
Thank you so much. We'll talk later, Allen. Take care.
Thanks, Nikki. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.